What's happening, film friends? Dave the Film Junkie here with a Film Junkie Not So Live again. That's right, again. I don't... oh, man, I don't know what the hell is going on. But, okay, so I mean, I kind of know. And this is what's funny, because you don't know until you actually go live sometimes. Or maybe I just didn't do my due diligence, and which is probably the case, because I swear I need a freaking producer. I need somebody to, like, do this kind of thing, because I'm just like, man. Or I should just do strictly StreamYard. I don't know. But I always try to give, like, the better quality when it comes to Film Junkie Lives. Because it's just me, and I'm like, all right, better quality. So, if you guys noticed on Twitter, I changed my, the Twitter handle to The Film Junkie, as opposed to just my name that had two E's on it, Dave E. Pena. And so I was like, okay, I want to change it to that, because I've been going, all right, Twitter is going to be, with everything that's going on, it just seems like Twitter, I wanted to take it a little bit more, or X, I guess you could say. I wanted to take it a little bit more seriously when it posts, like, news and stuff like that. Kind of just not just be, hey, let me just have a thought and post it out there. I kind of like, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to treat my Twitter like that. I want to just like, I'll give my opinions and make some jokes and stuff like that. But I also want to just like, put some news out there. And I've been doing that and just creating little thumbnails for the news. It's been kind of fun for the past 2 days. I will say that. So if you guys have noticed, yeah, I've been kind of doing that. But I think the fact that I changed it to just The Film Junkie, now all of a sudden I can't stream through it. And it says it's under review. I had no idea. I couldn't stream on the Vodka stream, and I couldn't stream tonight. So when I try to go live through my StreamYard, right, or Streamlabs right here, it kept on failing. So then I would go, oh, okay, maybe this, or try it again. So when that happened, it kept on bringing up a new live stream on YouTube. So I had no idea what the hell was going on. And then I'm looking at the chat. The chat's not even moving. It was all effed up. Everything was effed up. So now I got to like figure out what the hell is going on. So I just said, F it. Just let me just do a pre-recorded one. Or a recorded one, I guess you'd say, like I did last week. And it's just, I don't know, it's all wonky. And then another thing that happened too was one of my monitors went out, but luckily I had another one to spare. So I replaced the monitor, and then it messed up things when it came to my screens and everything. When I share the screen, when I bring up the chats, it's just been a mess. And it's just stuff I didn't check. So I apologize, guys. Sorry. Again, I need somebody way smarter than me to like really handle this stuff, because I fail a lot when it comes to this stuff. So anyways, guys, all right. Let's just get to it, though. Let's just get to it. And I appreciate you guys watching this. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit that like, thumbs up. It's just, like I said, just going through some technical difficulties, as I do. So, but we're going to start off right now, because we've been talking about a lot of Green Lantern stuff when it comes to, obviously, Lanterns that's going to be coming out from the DCU. We got Kyle Chandler. We got Aaron Pierre. But let's not forget about this whole fan film that we've talked about, and Mark Justice, who has actually been on the Vodka stream, and hopefully I can get him back to talk about this Green Lantern fan film that is actually looking pretty damn good. And hopefully we can get him back where he's actually in a setting where he could do like a full-on discussion about it, because the last time when he was on the Vodka stream, he was in between, like, because he does live shows and stuff like that. He's a performer. And so his audio wasn't all that great. There was just like things, there was like, oh yeah, hopefully we can get him back to do a better setting. But he did tease this right here, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool right here. So showing some shots when it comes to editing it. Oh, so that looks pretty cool. And I love that too. I love that we can actually see all the things right here. And it's like, ooh, we can see all the tracks right there. But yeah. So he's got some things right there. And that looks pretty cool. Yes, holy shit indeed. So that's pretty sweet. And that's not all. That's not all that he actually posted too. But we'll get to that as we go through the tweets. And then, of course, when it comes to lanterns, I've utilized this, and, John Reagan right here is also, he's also been putting out some really good concept and posters and stuff like that, which is great. So we got Kyle Chandler and we got Aaron Pierre right here, and I've utilized that, and he's been, of course, got a credit. Anytime that I utilize in a clip or something like that, always got to give the artist credit right there. And he's done a great job. He just kind of creeped up in my mentions and everything. And it was like, it was great. And then, of course, you have Boss Logic also with an Aaron Pierre. Pretty cool looking design right here, showing some things that he constructs right there. And that we could hopefully see, obviously, when it comes to the Lantern series. So not too bad right there, Boss Logic. And then we have this right here. What? Well, that's right. We all heard about the whole Karate Kid cinematic universe, I guess you could say. The multiverse, cinematic universe. I don't know what you want to call it. Obviously, it's not going to be a multiverse. At one point, maybe it was a multiverse, but no longer is it a multiverse because now they're combining, of course, Karate Kid, the original, and, of course, Cobra Kai, and then they're going to combine it with the Jackie Chan, and I'm just kind of wondering if Jaden Smith is actually going to show up in this one, but they're going to combine both of those versions into one, and they're actually going to be calling it Karate Kid Legends. Yes. Yes. As you can see, it says Ralph Macchio, Jackie Chan, Ben Wang, and then, of course, Ming-Na Wen. No Jaden Smith because, well, I don't know if he would actually come back and do it. Maybe they were like, hey, you want to come back? It's kind of weird because it's like, yeah, but hey, Jackie Chan, that's all. I think that's all we need. That's all I need. When it comes to this, I don't need Jaden Smith. I don't think he hasn't really acted in anything. Family's been a little. It's been interesting for the Smiths for the past few years. So he's probably not going to show up. But all I need is Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan, and then of course we got Ben Wang, who is the new Karate Kid. And I'm just kind of going, all right, curious to see what happens. But there you go, guys. Karate Kid Legends. Good title. I like the title. So I have a question for some of the people out there. Some of the people out there who are just like totally against the DCU and what James Gunn is doing. And I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, or it has been perfect, I should say. I'm not saying it has been perfect, but I'm just a question, because the biggest thing that I kept seeing was like, holy shit, this entire, especially when it came to Aaron Pierre. When it came to Aaron Pierre and him being cast as John Stewart Green Lantern, I started seeing people going like, okay, here we go. This whole universe is being cast by Twitter. And I went, huh? Really? Has it all been cast by Twitter? I'm just kind of going like, what are we doing here? Huh? And I've talked about this before, but then somebody made this image right here, and I was just looking at it going, exactly how many of these cast members, not even all of them, but it's the heroes. This is superheroes. How many of them have actually been cast by Twitter? And there it is. So there's all the heroes that are apparently cast by Twitter, because I've seen people say like the whole thing is. And I'm just kind of going like, okay, I mean, it's a good, whoever made this is kudos to them for putting it all together. But I'm just kind of going like, okay, David Cornsweet, I could see that because he was put out there. No idea who he was. I just saw people tweeting about him. So I could give you that. I'll give you that. And then, of course, we have Xolo Maridueña, which is kind of funny, but I'm like, oh, that's previous stuff. So, but Isabella Merced? Nah. I forgot his name, who plays Mr. Terrific, of course. I'm like, no, I don't think he was. Kyle Chandler. How many times did you see Kyle Chandler being like, he should be Hal Jordan? Nope, that never happened. Aaron Pierre, I'll give you that, because after Rebel Ridge, right? After Rebel Ridge, a lot of people were fan casting him, so I can give you that. Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner? Nope, didn't see that. Amelia Alcock, did not see Amelia Alcock until she was on the short list. When she was on the short list, that's when I saw people going, I want her. I wanted Meg Donnelly. I wanted Meg... I know, I'm just like choking on my words here. Sorry. I wanted Meg Donnelly because she was already, of course, Supergirl in the DC AU when it came to the whole Tomorrow universe. But I didn't really see her. And then, of course, we have Kumail Nanjiani as Booster Gold, which has not been fully confirmed yet. And even James Gunn made a little F up when it came to tweeting out this very image right there. Not tweeting, I think it was on Threads. And he's like, and people were like, did you confirm it, James? He's like, no, I didn't even realize. But I think he still is. And I'm going, who the hell did that? And then, of course, Mr. Metamorpho right here, who is Anthony, of course I can't remember his name right now, but I'm like going, all right, maybe. And then I'm just like kind of thinking when it comes to other characters, I'm like, Nicholas Hoult, Skylar, what's his name, is playing Jimmy, maybe them. Rachel Brosnahan, I didn't see her until she was on the short list. So I'm just kind of going like, guys, like, what are we doing? I mean, I get it. You don't like what's going on. But at the same time, I even said this when it came to Aaron Pierre. If it was down to him and somebody else, and they were going, oh, man, these two gave the best performances. How do we determine who's going to actually play John Stewart? Is it so bad that they went, well, people on social media really like this guy? So is it that bad that they were like, well, he's got the edge. She's got the edge right there because people want him as that. And then, of course, that created a whole other mess when it came to skin color. Yeah, it's all fun. It's all fun, but I don't think the whole universe is being cast by Twitter. That's for sure. Anyways. Oh, what the hell happened? I'm just having, oh, man. I swear to God. It's just nothing but technical difficulties tonight. Oh, man. It's just it's going to be a normal thing. I don't know. All of a sudden, like, my Twitter page went completely blank. So now I got to scroll back to where I was. My God. I mean, it's probably a good thing that this is not live. Probably a good thing that this is not live, or it'd be just a complete shit show. Might be just a complete shit show if I was doing this live. And that's why I've toyed with the idea of not doing it live because, like I said, I'm going to continue to do it live because I do like the actual interaction and everything with everybody. So it's like, I want to do it live, but then it's just, sometimes I'm just going, man, but when shit doesn't work, and it sucks because then I'm just put on the spot and I'm like, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. Anyways, all right, well, let's talk about Andrew Garfield right now. And I called it, guys. I fucking called it. You knew it was going to happen. There was just no way that it wasn't going to happen. And what did I call? And this was on October 2nd. October 2nd, I tweeted this out. And I did go over it on the show, and of course, I said Andrew Garfield on the possible return of Spider-Man, and then, of course, he had his quote, and I said, cool, can't wait for them to ask him again next week. Well, look what happened, guys. Yep, so Mr. Joshua Horowitz asked him a week later. It was actually 8 days, so not, if you want to, well, it was 8 days later because it was on the 10th. But yes, Andrew Garfield played coy when asked about his potential return as Spider-Man. If I was in your position, I can imagine going, yeah, he's probably had conversations too. I mean, not much really there. Not much there. And it's just like, I feel bad for Andrew Garfield, who's like trying to promote other projects and everybody just keeps on asking him about Spider-Man. I'm like, man, see, I always think about like, what would I do? And I just always go, I don't want to ask him about Spider-Man. And I get it. That's what, that's what's going to get the clicks and you could cut out something and that's what's going to, and I'm just going, I don't know. Sometimes you got to just go, don't do that. But then I know that these people work for companies and of course they need that. But I don't know, if I were to ever interview Andrew Garfield, I would do it in a different way. I would just be like, I don't know. I would want to have just like a cool, relaxed, that's what the Vodka Stream's like. And hey, Andrew Garfield, you want to come on the Vodka Stream? Please do. We'd have a relaxed conversation. I would actually want to know more about you. But then, of course, we'd bring up some of the Spider-Man stuff, and I'd probably make a joke about it. about the fact that he gets asked that all the time and everything. So I don't know. It just must kind of suck where he's always constantly asked about that. And it's obviously it's not going to be the last time he's going to be asked about it. Like, and there's rumors that he's coming back, and I hope he does because he's my favorite live action Spider-Man. I mean, they're all three great, but he's the best. Let's see what else we got here. Let's just keep on scrolling. Yeah, I could bring that up. Oh, this was kind of funny right here. This was funny right here because a lot of people were just kind of going like, what the hell is this? Because the Hollywood Reporter, they had this whole spread when it came to Hollywood meet your new A-list. And when you see this group of people, you're going, who the fuck are these people? Who are these people? It's TikTokers and Instagram stars. But there are some YouTubers in here too. But I'm just kind of going like, I don't know who any of these people are. I'm looking. Oh, I know who these guys are over here. Yeah, that's Link and Rhett. They've been YouTubers for quite a while. And it's kind of sad because you know what? They are in their mid-40s. Everybody else is probably in their mid-20s. How awkward was this? But I'm sure they weren't going to pass up the opportunity to be represented like this. And kudos to them because I've watched their stuff. They put out good stuff. They do, and they have been. And they've evolved into their mid-40s. It's kind of inspiring because they're older than me. And I'm going, okay, they're still sticking around and still doing stuff. And it's pretty cool. And they've gone through their ups and downs, which you do when it comes to this. Well, let's face it, try to live stream tonight. That was a down, and it's been a down because I just, trying to figure that kind of stuff out and trying to, make sure you're trying to give a good product out there. And those guys have stood the test of time, but it must have been a little weird when you got everybody else who's not even fucking 30 years old. And I have no idea who these people are. I have no idea. It's a mixed bag. And as TikTokers and Instagrammers, I don't even know who they are. One of these guys actually kind of looks familiar, and I might have seen him somewhere. But I'm like, everybody else? Yeah, nobody looks familiar. But I'm just kind of going like, holy crap. This is the new A-list in Hollywood? We're in trouble if that's the case. Just saying. Just saying. All right, let's keep on going. All right, well, I'm happy about this, and who knows? Because when it came to the sequel of Afterlife, which I loved Afterlife, Frozen Empire, it was kind of. I mean, when you see my review, I was kind of, let down when it came to the final act and everything. I mean, I thought all the pieces were kind of there, but I don't know. There was things that just felt like it didn't really, truly work. And I think the space in between Afterlife and Frozen Empire, that's always going to be a thing because we had the pandemic, we had everything. And then, of course, when you're dealing with the fact that you have a cast of kids, it's like, oh, shit. When time is spaced out between the two movies, you can't just go, oh yeah, this takes place right after the first one. It's like, no, you can't, because now the once, little guy right here with the high squeaky voice is now this tall and he's talking like this. But according to this right here, hey, we got a new Ghostbusters film in the works. I don't know all the details, but hey, give me some more Ghostbusters. I will gladly take more Ghostbusters. I know there's supposed to be another cartoon series that's going to be on Netflix. Yeah, I don't know. But long as there's more Ghostbusters, that's all. It's kind of funny, too, because when I listen to, you got the Universal Hollywood horror, that they do for Halloween. And I went one year and they had a Ghostbusters maze and it was phenomenal. And they have another one. And it's funny, when I hear the commercial on the radio, it's cool because when you hear it, they play the noise and they talk about how Ghostbusters is actually going to be there, and you hear the of the siren of the Ecto-1, and it just sounds so cool because it's like a dark, ooh, you hear whoever made the commercial is cool, but then when you hear it's almost like, damn, it's like there's all this craziness happening and the Ghostbusters come in. There needs to be like a hardcore extreme ghost. I know there was extreme Ghostbusters when it came to a cartoon, but yeah. Oh, anyways, let's see. Keep going. What do we do? Oh, yeah. So we got this. Oh, we got this right here. So when it comes to the Batfleck movie that we were supposed to get, you know, we weren't gonna. It's kind of funny too because we weren't supposed to get that. That wasn't originally supposed to be in the slate, but then it was like, all right, Ben Affleck, people like your Batman. Do a solo Batman movie. I mean, of course, there was people that were complaining that there wasn't a solo Batman movie that led up to BVS. And to those people, I just go, hey, you know, yeah, we get it. Marvel freaking messed up your mind. And you felt like you had to have this, and then this, and then this, and then this. But that's not the case, you know, when it came to the DC EU and it came to what Zack was trying to do. It was a little bit different, and you already wanted to have an established Batman that was going to take on Superman. But yes, there was supposed to be obviously the Batfleck movie, and then there was concept art that came out of there. Concept art about, you know, with a costume that was like, all right, interesting. They were going to go a different kind of style costume, but somebody actually made a figurine. And this is from NWNP Studio. I'm not sure what that acronym means, but they created this right here. There it is. There it is. Somebody made it. They even put the 5 o'clock shadow on Batfleck's face, man. Side profile. And then closer up right there. I love the fact that they put the stubble. I'm not going to lie. But see, to me, when it comes to that costume, I'm just kind of going like, It's like a combination of the BVS costume, the tactical costume, and the regular Justice League costume, and a little bit of the armored costume. And then they took elements of the Dark Knight costume and added it to this. And now the cowl looks kind of cool. I will say that. Cool. And I'm just kind of going like, well, yeah, he's going to be facing Deathstroke, so he's going to need that extra armor. Okay, 100%. But at the same time, I'm like, just give me a variant of the BVS costume because that was the best costume. That is still my favorite live-action Batman costume right there, Batsuit. That's my favorite live-action Batsuit. And I didn't like the fact that I don't like what this looked like. Maybe they could have tweaked it a little bit, and I totally understand that, yeah, maybe it was needed to take on Deathstroke. But, yeah, there you go. Someone made a figure out of that, so that's pretty sweet. And then there's this rumor right here. There's a rumor that Adria Arjona, you know who I'm talking about. Well, she's apparently was supposed to be, you know, there's a rumor that she might be joining the DCU. And everything DCU, they posted this right here. And I even was like, oh, that's cool. And then I couldn't stop looking at this image of her because she is goddamn gorgeous. Holy crap. And that dress is like something else. That dress is something else. So, man. Yeah, that is a very sexy woman right there. Of course, she was in Andor. She was in the Hitman movie. She's been in numerous things. And I know I butchered her name because I'm bad at saying names, but, you know. It's just, man, that image. I was like, you guys decided to use that image? Holy Lord. I don't know if this is true, but if it is true, holy crap, because, I mean, I tell you what, I mean, Warner Brothers really dropped the ball when they had one of the most, you know, a director that is just, he's just on this other level, and he ended up leaving them. And of course, you know who I'm talking about, Christopher Nolan. And according to Puck News right here, and of course you could take it with a grain of salt because who knows if it's actually true, but if it is, I'm just like, man, there's just going to be, I don't know if Christopher Nolan would ever come back to Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers was never in consideration for Christopher Nolan's next film. Reportedly, WB executives Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi weren't even allowed to read the script before Nolan's project was announced with Universal. Yikes. That's no bueno, but and you can't even blame those two. It's the old regime that really effed it up. And a little bit of Zazzy Pants. Zazzy Pants has not done a great job. I was rooting for him. I was like, all right, maybe this guy could do something. But let's face it, he hasn't done a good job. He really has not. So, Oh, man. Anyways, moving along. Oh, man, it was Hugh Jackman's birthday this past weekend, and talk about, got Wesley Snipes wishing him a happy birthday. Look at those two goats right there who have played these characters. I mean, remember, Wesley Snipes now has the Guinness Book of Records of playing Blade longer than any other character, because obviously he started playing Blade before Hugh Jackman was cast as Wolverine. So technically, playing him for a fourth time, even though Hugh Jackman's been in like 16 fucking movies, he still has the longest. So he beat out Hugh Jackman for that. But it's just kind of cool to see these two goats right there. Yeah, I was like, oh, look at that. Kind of cool, so good on Wesley Snipes for that. Oh boy, that's right. I got to talk about this. All right, I'm not even going to bring up the page right now, but I got to talk about this. So this weekend, guys, I decided to start off my spooky movie, spooky season. It's Halloween, it's October. So I was like, you know what? I'm home. There's no sports to watch, no playoffs and everything. So I'm going to let's put on some movies. And I started off my spooky season movie watch with the Saw movies. I was like, all right, let's start rewatching the Saw movies. And on Saturday, I was like, all right, put on the first Saw. And then right after that, put on the second one, put on the third one. And when it comes to that Saw trilogy, I think it's a beautiful trilogy. I love that trilogy. I think it's absolutely fantastic, the way that it works together and everything like that. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movies that have been out for 15 years, it's, John Kramer, Jigsaw, he dies in the third movie. And somehow they were like, we got to continue this franchise because it makes money. They can make it for cheap. And kudos to them for actually achieving that, because they had continued, and they've been subpar to, of course, the first three, specifically the first one. So I was just kind of like, I lost interest. I did. And after the third one, I did a jump to Saw 3D because I had not seen Saw 3D. And I don't even know which number it actually is. They just called it Saw 3D. And I put it on, and holy shit, is that just pretty damn terrible. It's got some cool moments. It's got Chester from Linkin Park, who has a scene in it where he's in one of the saw traps, and he does a very fantastic job. So there are some moments, but it's shot so terribly because it was shot for 3D that I'm just like, what in the fucking Sci-Fi Channel is this? And of course, I'm not watching in 3D, and it just looks awful. It looks awful. So of course, they needed a course correction when it came to the Saw franchise. And back in 2017, they were like, okay, we're going to make Jigsaw. We're going to come back to the franchise. I don't even know if Saw 3D was the last one. I think it was, before they took a break. And then in 2017, they released Jigsaw, which of course has Tobin Bell on the cover as Billy, the I think that's what his name is, Billy. So they have him on there. And it's just kind of going like, all right, and he's supposed to be a part of this? And it's like, okay, so they've been, again, John Kramer, dead in the third one, and they have somehow continued this franchise. How do you bring them back this time? And of course, they were like, all right, let's go back to kind of the basics, I guess you could say. And I rewatched Jigsaw. I was like, all right, let me put on Jigsaw. And I remember I saw it in the theater, and I went, okay, rewatching it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. And then I went, oh yeah, when you see the twist of how they bring John Kramer back, it just kind of went, good job. You guys did a good job of doing that. It's like, oh, okay, mind-blowing, cool. I love how you did that. Fantastic. So then I decided to watch Saw X. I have not seen Saw X. Spiral, I saw. Let's forget about that one. That was supposed to be some kind of spin-off that Chris Rock wanted to do. Didn't really work. It wasn't a shit show. It just wasn't all that great. So Spiral, it's whatever. I didn't rewatch Spiral. But Saw X, I hadn't seen it. So I was like, all right, it's finally time to watch Saw X. So I put it on. And as this movie is starting, I'm going, holy shit. Wait a minute here. Wait. when the first act is happening, I'm going, I can't tell if this movie is brilliant or if this movie is diabolical. And then as it went on, and then finally it ended, I was still feeling that way. I was going, holy shit. Holy shit. And I sat there and went, fuck this movie, but I applaud it. Yep, 100%. Fuck this movie, but I applaud it. Here's why. So how do you bring John Kramer back yet again without actually doing some kind of fucking supernatural paranormal like they raise him up from the dead? You go, okay, here we go. I got the idea right here. We're going to set this story in between Saw 1 and Saw 2. Okay, cool. But wait a minute. How are you going to do that? Because that movie came out 20 years ago. Tobin Bell, he's like 80 years old right now. That's the brilliant part. He's dying of cancer. No one's going to know. We already made him kind of look like all frail and old anyways. Now we don't have to put that much makeup on him. Diabolical. So then we're going to have a story, the first act. And guys, I'm going to get into a little bit of spoilers if you haven't seen it. So just warning you right now, a little bit of spoilers, a little bit. So you got the first act and it's like, okay, we're going to just build up. We're going to build up this sympathy for Kramer. We're going to build up that sympathy 100% and get people to just really be behind John Kramer right here. And we're going to do, of course, the cancer diagnosis and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, Tobin Bell does a fantastic job because now this is the most he's ever been on screen when it comes to a Saw movie. So, of course, we're getting all that. And then this is, again, to the diabolical part and also brilliant. Like I said, it's just like one of those where I'm like, whoa, oh my God. It's crazy. So when you're trying to do the whole first act and build up all this sympathy for John, and you're trying to like basically almost do like an origin story kind of like thing. It's like it is a prequel essentially. It's like, okay, but in the first act, we need a Saw trap. We need like a Saw scene. We need something where somebody is in like some crazy fucking game, right? So John, he's like getting a drink of water at the hospital. He sees a nurse, this dude nurse guy who is in a patient's room who has like, who got a bunch of broken bones, got the thing on his hand or something like that. He starts digging through his stuff and he's about to steal his valuables. So John sees this, and then all of a sudden it cuts to this dude is now in a Saw trap, and he's got these tubes on his eyes, and his hands, his right hand is like, or left hand, I can't remember, is in one of those contraptions. And then, of course, in order to get out of it, he has to break all his fingers. And then, of course, it doesn't fail, and then something happens to his eyeballs. And then it cuts right back, and you go, oh shit! He imagined that. That didn't really happen. John Kramer imagined that. And that just kind of shows you that John Kramer is a bit of a deranged fuck. All right? Yeah, I get he's trying to give people a second chance and rebirth them, but he's still he's still fucking deranged. I mean, if you're imagining that just showed you right there. And then, of course, so that didn't happen. And it's kind of funny because they used that thing with the eyes, the tubes in these eyes, they used that for the fucking poster. Again, I'm going, this is diabolical and kind of brilliant. So then, as the story goes on, obviously, if you've watched it, and again, get into a little bit of like the story here if you haven't seen it, John hears about like a treatment that have saved lives. And I got to go to this clinic that's down in Mexico and pay all this money, and they're gonna freaking save me. This sounds like it's actually legit. Of course, it is not. They scammed him. They 100% scammed him. So then it's like dun 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 dun. Okay, now it's time to gather up all these motherfuckers who scammed me and get them jigsawed. We're gonna jigsaw these guys. So essentially, they're turning Jigsaw into like a superhero. Like, hey, He's going to take on evil. And the woman who is running the whole thing, she is over the top evil. Like, things that she says and does are evil. And then guess what, guys? Remember Amanda? She's back. Remember her? She's back because this fits in between Saw 1 and 2. So she's back before, everything that happened in the original trilogy where she just wasn't going to be the apprentice that of course, John was hoping for. But so they bring her back. And, of course, it's 20 years later. So they were like, well, we can't exactly, pass you off now. So we're just going to put a bunch of makeup on you and a ridiculous wig. That wig was absolutely ridiculous. But it's like, all right, cool. Amanda's back. Fine. So, of course, she helps him out. And then, of course, there's even a moment where John has to save a kid. He has to save a kid when it comes to all this stuff. He saves a kid. And then, of course, there is it's not a post-credit scene, but it's a scene at the end where somebody else from the franchise shows up too, makes a little cameo. You could probably guess who that is. And if you've seen it, of course, you know it is. And I'm just kind of going like, was this produced by Kevin Feige? They MCU'd Jigsaw. They MCU'd him a little bit, right? If you think about it, it's like, oh, wow, you guys have turned this where he's mainly in the shadows. You mainly hear the voice. And he, of course, it's like you have some sympathy for him and you get what he's doing. But they really, really made him out to be kind of like a superhero in this movie. And that's why I was like, okay, I see. Whoever came up with this, good on you. You found a way to bring him back. And I'm just kind of going like, man, if they were ever going to reboot this franchise and have a new John Kramer, they could even take this approach where John Kramer just takes on evil corporations or gangs or something like that. He just shows up, he kidnaps all of them, and then he tries to give them a second chance by putting them in his crazy diabolical torture devices to get out of it and stuff like that. I'm like, they could easily take that approach. I hope they don't. But it was just kind of like, wow, that's how you guys did it. Okay. But again, good on Tobin Bell. He did a fantastic job. It was just kind of like, wow. I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's how they were going to do that. That's how they did it. Wow. Pretty funny stuff. All right. And then we got Alex Proyas. Alex Proyas. Yes. We know who Alex Proyas is, right? He was recently, we talked about him recently because when it came to the Crow remake, he voiced his opinion on how he did not want that thing to ever come to be. And of course it looked horrible, and it was pretty damn horrible. But he also directed another movie that was pretty damn good. I like this movie. And when it came to Elon Musk, I don't know if you saw what Elon Musk unveiled over the weekend, but some of it was like, oh yeah, I even question, is Elon Musk actually Skynet? He might be. I mean, I'm not one of those Elon Musk haters. I'm just kind of like, when it came to the whole rocket coming back and they captured the rocket, pretty fucking phenomenal of all that. He's done good things, but of course, when you see the dancing robots, the go-go robots, a little freaky, but of course, he also had the Tesla van and of course knew the cab and everything like that. But here we go with Alex Proyas going, hey, Elon, can I have my designs back, please? Well, they're not exactly like that for sure. But at the same time, I'm just kind of going like, well, you predicted the future. I think a lot of people did. And to be honest, when I see these designs, I'm like, wow, we're finally getting into the future. When I see the Cybertruck out and about, and I've seen it numerous times. I live in Southern California, of course I have. I just go, wow, that kind of is the future. But at the same time, it's like when movies were happening, it felt like everybody was going to be driving like this kind of stuff. But it's like, it's only a select few, to be honest, because they're really damn expensive. But that's right, guys. We'll see what happens. Elon, he's supporting Trump. Of course he's supporting Trump because Trump's going to save the world. Or they're just going to turn it into fucking Cybertron. I don't know. The human race is doomed. It's doomed. Oh, and then of course we have 21x4 concepts right here. So we got Aaron Pierre. Obviously, when it comes to art and it comes to everything like that, I've shown the concepts when it comes to this designer right here, which is 21x4 concepts. And there's and I know some people are like, yeah, he uses like AI, and I'm like, yeah, I get that. But at the same time, I always like to show the designs because they do look cool. And I mean, I'm not thinking it's fully on AI, but he's got the Aaron Pierre Green Lantern John Stewart version now. And I mean, come on, that looks pretty damn sweet right there. That's right. So concepts are looking good. The costume looks good. And then that's one of the things right there. Those eyes. Aaron Pierre has just like piercing eyes. Now those eyes are going to be green. That's what's going to be insane to see. And I think that probably was one of the main reasons why Gunn was like, yep, he's a guy. He nailed the screen test, and then look at those freaking eyes. Good stuff. And then of course, let's see. We got a video of that. Let's see. Where's that video? Because Ready or Not 2 is coming out. Well, there's the video right there. Okay, so Ready or Not. So you got Ready or Not 2 that's going to be coming out. Samara Weaving, and of course, Radio Silence, which is like the group, the guys who made it, production and directors, I believe, too. But they posted this right here.
Ready or Not.
Here we come. Number 2.
So there you go. So that's happening. I'm just kind of wondering, what is the story going to be about? I liked the first one a lot. The first one was great. I'm just kind of going like, okay, so what do you do with the sequel? Again, that's what going back to the Saw franchise. I mean, the fact that like 20 years ago, Saw came out and it was supposed to be this little tiny movie that James Wan and Lee Winnall wanted to do. They're like, how can we make it cheap? Well, if it takes place mainly in a bathroom, I think we could save some budget right there. So it's like, all right, how do you come up with the concept around that? And they did, and it was huge, and they're still making movies 20 years later, and 10 movies. It's now 10 movies, which is insane. Of course, they're not all been great, but I do kind of like it when it's like, all right, if you could find another angle and you could finally make it intertwine with the first one, cool. And that's what, when it comes to some of these, does it always work? No, but hopefully it does with that one, because I'm just like, all right, yes, why not? And then we got McFarlane toys. McFarlane toys that, they're doing the multiverse thing that a lot of people are like, okay, well, wait a minute. When it comes to the McFarlane toys, he did Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I have a bunch of those because when that was all happening, I was like, gotta collect them all, essentially. Gotta collect them all. But I really wanted a Batman BVS costume. Or even like the standard Justice League BVS costume. And all they had was like the tactical when it came to Batman. But now McFarlane, hey, guess what? They got a new line of figurines that, of course, who's going to buy all these? And of course, who's going to buy me some of them? I'm just saying. But there you go. Look at that. So we got the BVS suit with a cape flapping like that, holding the grappling gun. Oh, that just looks great, the texture. And then, of course, you have Nightmare, Batman, and then you got the armored Batman. Oh, can I just have all three right there? Oh, which one? And then, of course, you have Doomsday and Superman fighting each other. What a two-pack. And then you got Wonder Woman with her sword and her shield. Yeah, because the Wonder Woman that I have, they did not make a Wonder Woman for Zack Snyder's Justice League. They made a Wonder Woman for Wonder Woman 84, which did not have the sword and the shield. It had the lasso. But I was like, well, I went to Target and they had a ton of them, so I might as well just grab that to have the entire Justice League in my little collection right there, since they didn't make one for Zack Snyder, but now they have a Wonder Woman that has that. But I'm like, I'm not going to get that. Why am I going to spend money on essentially the same design? Because I'm looking at it right there. Why would I actually, buy that? And it's like, I'd rather just buy the sword and the shield, or just make it. But Doomsday looks interesting, but I'm not going to get them all. I'm not going to get them all because, Jesus Christ, you got to pinch the pennies. You can't get them all. But I'm just I'm like going, the 3 Batmans, I eventually want to have them all. But I think I'm going to go with that BVS costume first because that thing, so good. So good. So freaking good. All right, what else we got? The Conjuring 4 is beginning production. They're still talking about who's going to host the Oscars, and it still might be Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. So we got all that. Oh, we got this right here. DC at New York Comic Con. We got the schedule right here, just in case you wanted to know what it is. And of course, a lot of us are kind of going like, what is James Gunn actually going to bring? We know that James Gunn's going to be there. And here's the schedule right here. Don't get too excited because it doesn't look like there's actually going to be much, but you never know what surprises could end up showing up at New York Comic Con. There you go right there. So they're going to be talking about the Penguin Thursday. And they're going to be talking about Bats in Translation. Not sure exactly what that is. They're going to be talking about DC's Gotham City for 15 minutes. I guess that's just going to be some kind of room that they're going to be doing that. And then, of course, we have DC's Absolute and All In. Still haven't read that yet, but I plan on it. And that's going to be a long panel right there. And then Saturday, we got Jim Lee and Friends, which he's done before. So that'll be an hour. And then, of course, there's where we got Mac's Original Creature Commandos. And of course, James Gunn and some of the cast will be there. So the question is there going to be anything Superman? Because apparently, according to James Gunn, he did say that there is going to be, there are not is going to be, but there, somebody asked him about the assembly cut. There's a scooper that was like, oh, he's already got assembly cut. It's like, James Gunn was like, there's been assembly cut for a while. It's like, well, there you go. So can we get some footage? Can we get something, Jimmy Guns? What are we doing here? I don't know. I actually meant to save that for the DC part of tonight's show. But I guess that could just be like, those little prologue to it right there. But now, guys, we're gonna have to get into, of course, the Joker, more Joker drama. Not really drama. But, more of the Joker right here. And, of course, I'm going to do the full-on box office report. But, of course, we're going to be talking about the box office right here. But, yeah, Joker 2, oof, man. It's just, it's just one of those things that's going to be studied. When it comes to the first one, into the second one, it's really going to get studied on how the mark just got missed. You guys know I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was a good follow-up, but it wasn't, obviously the first one was much better. And, of course, I think a lot of people just didn't really think the musical aspect of it was necessary, I guess you could say. And it just didn't work. And a lot of people, of course, are just going over the top and saying it was like the worst movie of the year. I'm like, I don't know. Did you see Madam Web? Come on now. But here's the article right here. Joker fully due to lose $150 million to $200 million in theatrical run after bombing at the box office. Whoa, buddy. So far, the offbeat musical about Batman's notorious foe has grossed $51.5 million domestically and $165 million globally after 2 weeks of release. By comparison, the first Joker had generated $96.2 million domestically and $248.4 million globally after 3 days of release. The sequel won't earn anywhere near that much by the end of the theatrical run, with ticket sales projected to stall at a lifetime gross of $65 million domestically and $210 million to $215 globally when Foliadu leaves the big screen. Yikers. The huge problem, because Joker 2 cost $200 million to produce and roughly $100 million to market and distribute. At this rate, the film won't get anywhere close to the $450 million needed to break even in its theatrical run. Sources at Warner Brothers say the movie will break even at $375 million after critics and audiences flat out rejected the big budget tentpole, which received a 33% rotten average on Rotten Tomatoes and a rare D grade on CinemaScore. It's shaping up to be one of the year's biggest catastrophes. It's now poised to lose $150 to $200 million. Yikes. Yeah. Not too great. Not too great. Totally just that sucks right there. And apparently they're already going to be putting it on streaming at the end of the month. Yeah, like that. I think it was the 29th. 29th they're putting it on streaming, or you could digital download. So, yeah, they're already like, get it out of the theaters, put it on streaming, put it on where people could see it at home. Could find new life on there, but holy crap, man. Studied. $1 billion, $55 million budget, $200 million budget, complete flop. Wow. It's funny, too, because comedian Tim Dillon, who's in the movie, I just watched his podcast that he did over the weekend where he talked about it. And he even said it was like one of the worst movies ever. I mean, it was, of course, being hyperbolic because, he had it, for a show, but it was just like pretty amazing. Like, it's just, this is going to be studied. It's just like how the Snyder Cut came to be was going to be studied and everything. So, yeah. Nutty. All right, now back to the DCU and James Gunn. So we got James Gunn right here, of course, answering questions from fans. He decided to do that a little bit this weekend, and it was like, all right, something's cool, fine, whatever, and something's, I'm like, why are you even answering some things, Jimmy? I don't know why you do that sometimes, but hey, it's Jimmy Gunn. So first off, when it comes to live action, what is in pre-production at DC Studios? Live action, well, obviously, Lanterns and Supergirl. That is heavily in pre-production. We already know there's a script and we know there's actors, so we know that right there. So, of course, he confirmed that. But then people were like, well, what about Teen Titans? What's going on when it comes to this? And here's a little thread right here. He mentioned the other day of stuff that's in pre-production, and he said, but Production Weekly says it is. And obviously talking about the Teen Titans movie. And he said, Production Weekly is very, very, very often completely wrong. No clue where they got their information from. So there you go. The Teen Titans movie. Well, when we heard about it, we heard that they have a writer, but they don't have a script yet. They don't have a script. That's the thing. They don't exactly have a script. And then Jimmy Guns wanted to clarify something as well, which is good. I love it when he clarifies. And here it is right here. Just to clarify, I said everything we originally announced was still in development, not that it's still coming. That all depends on the scripts. We'll never put a half-assed script in production just because it was announced. And this is coming off of this right here that says James Gunn assures every announced DCU project is still coming despite lack of updates. No half-assed scripts. Love those words. But at the same time, this is where things get in trouble, and this is where you got to learn things when it comes to the MCU when they have announced things that just don't end up coming to be or get changed. This is the problem, because part of these movies is getting people excited and announcing them, and then they go, guess what's coming in 5 years? And it's like, well, so much shit could happen in that time. So I really wish that they would like hold back on a lot of that stuff, but there you go. There's Jimmy Guns talking about that. And why does Jimmy Guns have to talk about this? I don't think anybody really cares, but he had to answer this right here because this is Jimmy Guns. He wants to just answer a lot of weird things, and apparently he wanted to answer this right here. How do you feel about this? Superman should always be taller than Batman, and Wonder Woman should be taller than both of them. James Gunn said, not good. I don't know where I'd find an accomplished and a talented actress 6'5" or over. So people are like, hey, Wonder Woman should be taller than both this time. And James Gunn was like, we want quality. We don't just want to hire somebody who's that tall who can't really act that well. And he's like, I don't know if there could be anybody right there. And then, of course, they brought up what's her name that is in Game of Thrones. She was in the Star Wars sequel series. I forget her name right now. They brought her up, and I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, make a white blonde woman, Wonder Woman. Yeah, that would go over well with the public, sure. But it's just like, no, she doesn't need to be all that tall. I mean, Gal Gadot was fairly tall but she was like 5'10", 5'9", 5'10", something like that. And then, of course, with the boots, she probably got up to 6 foot. But at the same time, it's like David Cornsweet is like, he's 6'4", 6'5". He's a tall motherfucker. So, I mean, Batman will likely be smaller than Superman this time around. Zack, of course, had Ben Affleck taller than Cavill, so that he actually wanted it to be that case. But Jimmy Gunn's going to do the opposite. But don't expect Wonder Woman to be taller than both. But I'm sure once she gets cast, somebody will say like, oh, that's heightism or something like that. They'll put some kind of ism on something. I don't know. You gotta love how people are. But there you go, guys. That's the DCU news right here. So now we got the Penguin. Penguin episode 4. What is it? I don't even remember what it's actually called. She actually says it at the end, and it's like French or Italian. It's Italian. But man. All right, Kristen Milioti is just, she's a beast. She's an absolute beast. And this is all about Sophie Falcone and what happened to her and why she was put in Arkham. And man, we got Carmine. Of course, Mark Strong is now playing him, and this is like a flashback. So, I mean, it works. It actually works. I was kind of wondering how Mark Strong would be. I thought he did a great job. Because what's-his-name couldn't come back to do it because of scheduling conflicts and everything. So it actually worked. But when you see this, I mean, he might as well just be called the Gaslighter. Holy crap. Is he a gaslighter? And then, of course, we see where Oz fits in on this, but this is very much a Sophia episode, and she just knocks it out of the park, and it's fucked up. It is fucked up when she gets put in Arkham and everything like that. Holy Lord, it's just effed up, man. And she just comes out, though. She comes out, and like the performance, this is what's going to win Kristen freaking Emmy right here, or a Golden Globe, or whatever the fuck, because it's just so very good. But I will have to say this, and we're going to get into a little spoilers when it comes to characters in here, so if you don't want to hear it, please, by all means, jump ahead or stop the video right now. Two names came out of this episode that it was like, holy crap, did not expect to hear that. I was like, wow, cool. We have Summer Gleason. Of course, if you watch the animated series, Summer Gleason is very much shows up a lot of episodes in there. So it was like, oh yeah, Summer Gleason's. And then even a deeper cut, I could not believe it. Magpie. Did I say that right? I said Magpie. I totally messed that up. But you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm totally just like messing that up. Magpie. No, it is Magpie. I don't know. I was like, wait. My brain went like, no, it's Madpie. No, Magpie. It's Magpie, and it's kind of crazy because I tell you what, when I got it spoiled for me because people on Twitter just they can't help themselves, and they always have to like, right after the freaking episode, they just got to spoil that stuff. So I got it spoiled for me, and I was like, holy shit, Magpie? They brought in Magpie? That was one of the first issues of Batman I ever got. This issue right here. And sorry, it's not all that big. Let's zoom in a little bit. But yeah, this issue of Batman right here, her name is Magpie. One of the first issues of Batman I ever got. What? So that just like blew my mind. Like when I saw the name on my feed when, somebody spoiled it, I went, Magpie? Matt Reeves and company, you crazy motherfuckers. I love that you did that. Magpie. Wow. And then Summer Gleason. I was like, yes, cool. I love that kind of shit. So anyways, yeah. Excellent episode. The best episode so far. And man, we're halfway through Penguin. Can't wait to see how this thing concludes. And then, of course, we just got the regular box office. We already talked about, when it comes to regular box office, we already talked about how Joker Folie à Deux was an 81.3% drop. And it's just kind of crazy because, again, it's so meta. If you have seen Joker 2, you know how it ends. A new clown defeats the old clown. So we got that actually happened with the box office. Terrifier 3, 18.3 million. Even Wild Robot went over it too. But the Terrifier 3 made 18.3. And yeah, I mean, that's, or 18.8, I should say. Now it's at 18.8 because it's been a day. But it made that much. And what's crazy about that, it was made for $2 million. So it's already just been super successful. I mean, that's the thing. You can make these movies so cheap, and everybody loves the gore factor. They love the character of Art the Clown. And so they just absolutely are just eating it up. And this franchise is probably going to have 20 fucking movies for sure. I still have not watched them yet. I'm not really into the whole, I'm not into, gore porn or whatever the fuck they call it. I'm not really like so much into it. I mean, I don't mind it. But yeah, I'm going to have to take a dive down into that. But sad that Saturday Night didn't get much love. Didn't get much love when it came to Saturday Night, which like I said, that's one of my favorite movies of the year. It only made 4.1 million, so it didn't really capture an audience. And what else didn't capture an audience is the Donald Trump movie, The Apprentice. Nobody went to see it because it's all crap. I didn't give it I don't know why they thought that this was actually going to be, Sebastian Stan playing a young Donald Trump. I think they thought, people, if you release it a month before the election, people were going to just flock to it. Nobody did. Whether you hate the guy or love the guy, nobody wanted to, because the people who love Donald Trump knew that it was just going to be, a movie that was just going to shit on him constantly. So they didn't want to see that. And then the people who actually hate Trump, they didn't want to go watch a movie about Donald Trump. What are we doing here? I mean, that's one of the things. That's why this movie was not successful. I'm sure Sebastian Stan did a great job, and it might be a good movie, but it wasn't going to find any life during this time. There's just no way that it just did not have an audience at all. So they effed up that. They thought they probably had a winner, and they just did not. I think it'll find life later on, like when people just, on streaming, especially if he ends up being president, even if he ends up not being. Again, so yeah, they missed a mark on that one. Bad. All right, then finally, guys. Finally, we got Ballerina and Lionsgate. Well, Lionsgate is having a tough year because they've had bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb. Lionsgate, well, they distributed Megalopolis, which came out a couple of weeks ago. They had The Crow. They had Borderlands. They even had, John Batista's movie, that assassin movie. And, a lot of it was not too great. So we got an article from The Wrap right here that talks about this. Studio slump. Lionsgate's last 6 films have all been box office busts. Hoo boy. Of course they have. Even Halle Berry's movie. We got Killer's Game. We got Never Let Go. I heard that movie is actually pretty good. So it breaks down a lot of things. But another thing that I hate it when it jumps like that. Another thing that Lionsgate has is Ballerina, which could surely be a winner. Because it's part of the John Wick universe. But now we're kind of wondering about that because, holy Lord, that got delayed a year. And it's like, well, what's going on with that? The trailer looked good, but what was actually going on with that? So it said earlier this year, Lionsgate pushed the Ballerina release date a full year. At the time, the spin from Lionsgate was that because of the immense anticipation for Ballerina among John Wick fans, the studio had opted to ratchet up the action sequences to satisfy expectations. Per Lionsgate, Chad Stahelski, who directed the first 4 John Wick films and oversees the franchise along with, of course, a crew, was working closely with Ballerina director Len Wiseman on the additional action sequences, with everyone involved and appreciating having the additional time to complete the film. But according to 3 insiders with knowledge of the project, the reality was that Stahelski actually had to reshoot most of the movie due to Wiseman's cut not passing muster. According to one insider, a significant portion of Ballerina was reshot in Budapest with Wiseman not present on set. The Ballerina reshoots took 2 to 3 months overseas, according to the first insider, and further delayed development of Stahelski's revival of Highlander. The one starting Henry Cavill. And I was kind of wondering, I was like, wait, he's supposed to be doing that. I was like, I knew he had another project. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He's doing Highlander. So he had to come in and save the franchise. And what's sad about this, it's like, okay, this is a good thing because, I mean, the trailer looked good and Stahelski is excellent when it comes to action sequences. But at the same time, we're getting another thing where a studio's going, nope, your vision, the filmmaker's vision, that's not what we want. That's not what we want. So they're now going over and bringing somebody else in. So it's both, I guess you could say it's good and bad. I would say it's more bad because, again, we're going against the filmmaker that you hired who had a vision. But then at the same time, I'm like, maybe that vision was not the vision that it should be. And they were like, well, this is a John Wick spinoff. We need more action and stuff like that. So then it was Stahelski to the rescue. So I guess we'll find out if that actually worked, but that just probably means that this budget probably fucking ballooned up, which is never good. Never good. So, and hopefully nobody says release the Wiseman cut, but people will. Well, we could joke around, I guess. All right, guys. So there's that. And then even though, like, I'm not doing this live, I am going to answer questions that were Twitter questions. And there's only a few right here, so I'm still going to answer some questions right here. So here we go. We got Devon Wooter right here. Hey, Dave, I want to apologize for being rude to you on Saturday, that I feel horrible. I hope we could be friends. I don't remember. You were rude to me? You're going to have to let me know. What, you were rude to me? I don't remember you being rude to me on Saturday. Saturday? Again, I get a lot of, mentions and stuff like that. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, man. Is it your name Devon or Devin? I always say Devon, but I think your name is actually Devin, right? Probably saying your name wrong, and I apologize for that. James Gunn will talk about the upcoming DC movies because I heard he's doing a host on Saturday. And who's your favorite action stars of the 80s? Well, Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren, Stallone. Those guys, and even Jackie Chan, but I didn't know Jackie Chan until in the 90s. I just went back and watched his old movies. I don't know exactly what you were alluding to when it comes to you being rude, man. So, no, don't worry about it. I don't remember anything really when it comes to that. So, Mason, as someone who likes Joker Folie à Deux quite a bit, the upside to this is that we'll most likely see a digital and streaming release sooner than expected. Yes, apparently the 29th. I understand the hate, but I personally dug what Phillips was going for. Yeah, I'm with you. I personally dug it too. I was like, okay, he went for it. Darkness Under the Wind. Dave, question 1. How would you feel if we get a Justice League versus Waller movie in the DCU with her as a mini threat in the first saga? And would you want her organization just being the Creature Commandos or also having the Suicide Squad and Suicide Squad characters with them? Yeah, it'd be kind of cool if they just had all of it. Why not? Question 2. Do you think we'll get Onslaught in the MCU reboot? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if Kevin Feige wants to do a little bit of a deep cut, sure. I'm not even I know I've heard the name, but I'm not even familiar with exactly who that character is. Mr. Nobody. Hey, Dave, given that there's 3 Jokers, Todd Phillips, Matt Reeves, and Muschietti, don't you think that's gonna add more fuel to the ongoing fire, or will the average moviegoer just accept it as a new iteration of Joker, kind of like how they did with the new James Bond? I mean, that's essentially what they have to do, right? I mean, it's not going to... I mean, the Joker, I think everybody's going to put Joaquin Phoenix's Joker behind them. It's done. It's whatever. And they realize that's not the real Joker. That's not the real Joker, so we're just going to put that behind us now. So when it comes to Matt Reeves, that's going to be the actual Joker. And it's hard. How can you not have a Joker if you have a Batman movie? You got to have, it's his arch nemesis. Muschietti, we'll see what's even happening with that. Hopefully everything will be all right. But there you go, guys. All right, guys. That's it. And again, apologize for not being live. Hopefully I can get everything all worked out and fixed when it comes to things. And Wednesday we'll have a normal stream and everything. So I appreciate you guys. hit that like, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, do all that. And yeah, guys, I'll see you guys on Wednesday, hopefully live, and I'll talk to you later.